make your room gentle. Dim the lights, hush the clocks, let everything be easy. Second, invite the rest in. A cup of something warm, a breath that feels like fog on glass. Third, remember you...
I started Horror Nights as a place to embrace and create horror for generations to come.
Dearly beloved, we're gathered here today.
Always had such a great love and passion for horror. Whether it be through collectibles, physical media, autographs, all sorts of other cool stuff. I just live, breathe, and eat horror. I love it. I started Horror Nights as a place to embrace and create horror for generations to come. I wanted to take the same award-winning success the VSW had, and I've met some great people along the way. So I grabbed and took Victor. I took, Chase. We met somebody named Misty along the way as well. She's been perfect fit. And I said, this is going to be my dream team for Horror Nights. This is, going to be the group. This is going to be the one to get it done. And, I can't be happier with my team. Join us every Tuesday night. You're not going to want to miss it, honestly. A nice blend of just retro, horror, both old and new. Things from yesteryear, but things from today as well. It's a perfect blend, honestly. It really is. Again, just loving the physical media. Texas Chainsaw Massacre is one of those films that has really, played a huge part in, the way I make shorts and such, and the kind of, visions I have in my head for it. I just love that, whole style and era of what they did with that film. The visuals, both the original and honestly in the remake, the 2003. Say, though, it might not be for everyone. We are dark. It's part of the macabre. It's part of the horror territory, though, But, that's what makes it, I think, fun, in my opinion, because, come on, what's not fun about that? That is fun. That screams fun. But again, I picked my team very specific. Victor, I saw his awards. I saw what he did in the podcast network. Very similar to what I was doing in the wrestling. Maybe not the same approach, but honestly, with the same ambitions and the same, fight. He didn't give up. He didn't quit. He just kept going after it. And that's who you want on your team. You want someone that doesn't quit, that doesn't back down, that just gets the job done. And, Chase, he's another one. We went to a bunch of horror conventions. The love of horror is there. We always talk horror and talk horror theory. And he has a passion for film. It's wonderful. And like I said, we met Misty along the way. She watched the show. She loved it. And I said, she has to be a part of it. Here's a young female here that loves horror films and just, wants to express that and talk about it. And you don't get that. You know, a lot of the women, I think, are afraid to admit that they like the horror films. I think they're afraid that it's gonna like freak people out and stuff. And no! We love that shit, you know? Everybody. I mean, horror is universal. It really is. It's one of those universal languages, in my opinion. But yeah, you know, I picked my team like that to, you know, join me on Horror Nights. And I honestly, again, I can't be more happy and grateful for those guys and girls because, you know, they get the job